Shirt show. All right, let's go. Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt, man! All right, episode 4 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Tyler and Alexa from In-House Prints in New Jersey. Let's go! Shirt show!
There it is.
What's up?
Welcome to the dance party.
Yeah.
Look who Dylan's with.
She found our doppelgangers. There we go.
All right.
Oh, hold on, I gotta get my real guest in here.
Is it a
We
kitty?
got a special guest today, and it's a surprise special guest, and we're not sure who it is. We don't even know who this is.
Employee of the month.
Dude, she's hot.
Blonde hair, blue eyeshadow. I mean, sure, why
Dude,
not?
Her face is thick too for extra wear. What's up, guys?
How are you?
Pretty good. You know, me and Linda.
What are you guys drinking? I wanted to be like Dylan today, so Joanne made me some ramen tea.
Pretty easy. Just take the
Sweet
packet out of a
tea.
ramen pack.
You don't know what to think about the
It's
ramen tea,
literally
do
like
you?
Ramen broth.
Yeah.
It's not. It tastes
With a
like
little
it.
bone marrow. It's great.
It's ramen. We're on the
Yeah.
beach together.
That's so funny.
Vacation mode.
I like how it's blacking out her boobs right now. No, it's not.
That's
All
so
right.
creepy and
Itself.
that's so bad.
Dude, the funny part is as soon as I heard that we were going to do this interview, I bought this online, and then it didn't show up last time when we were going to do this. And then as soon as Tyler said he couldn't make it, I was like, yes. And then it showed up on the following Monday.
You're like, perfect.
Sure.
I was like, yes.
Timing's everything.
Now I feel really lightheaded because I blew her up right before this.
Oh gosh. You don't have like a bike tire pump or something?
Nope, I used my mouth.
That's what she said.
Yeah. The best part is we were at work when I bought this, and I looked up the reviews, and there were so many creepy dudes pissed off that when they got it, they found out it didn't have any holes.
Oh my God. I mean,
It doesn't have any
practically,
holes.
What
One
would you
star.
use that for?
1 star.
It's for parties. I don't know. The creepy part is she's super small.
It's for podcasts.
Oh, damn, those legs.
You should have put her upstate merch shirt on her.
Yeah, where's that?
What are you thinking?
She's got a great rack. I wanted to show it off.
Well, you need some upstate merch pasties on her.
Yeah.
We'll make those. Don't worry.
So how you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. Just
Yeah.
busy right now, which is awesome. A lot of vinyl, a lot of t-shirts. So it's good.
What
We
about
just
you
saw
guys?
you were doing a hazmat, or I guess it was the back of a ambulance, or I don't know what it was.
Yeah, so
That
that's like
was
a
the-
highway hazmat truck they have around here. So we're doing another one next week. The install was fine, but the removal of the old stuff, it was like 15 years old. So we had to heat it up, and
Well,
it took a long time to get off. But
He thinks that they might have done like a clear coat over the whole truck, but
Oh,
over
no.
the vinyl.
yeah,
And so like that
Oh,
on
no.
top of it just being like old and crusty, like it just
but we got it done.
took a
Did you
long
power
time.
wash it off, or how'd you do it?
No, so I actually have like a steamer because we do vinyl removals frequently for other clients, and I can do like a whole police car in like 2 hours. But this thing took like 2 full afternoons. And we ended up using they have these eraser wheels. And then I ended up going to Harbor Freight, and I got a hot knife and literally melted it off the back just without taking the paint off. So it was good.
By the way, is that an In-N-Out Burger t-shirt you're wearing?
It is. Yes.
Oh my
Yeah. So
Classic.
good.
Yeah.
Making me hungry.
But yeah, we got to get back to the West Coast eventually.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Everything's closed forever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we'll
Dylan's
just
really
travel.
optimistic.
Sad.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I'm on the
I mean,
beach.
I love that
It's-
about you.
yeah. Yeah. I like exactly where we're at as far as work related. So if we can just make it so we can keep traveling. But right now everything's shut. So we're just
so right.
hammer down.
Where do you guys do the vinyl? Do you have like a garage that you do it at?
So 3 different places. So we have a unit next to us. If that company's involved in the work, we'll do the vehicles there. We have other accounts about 45 minutes away. They've got like a 10,000 square foot warehouse where we'll run cars in there for them. And then if it's like our own stuff, we just either do it at our house. We have a garage. Or if it's quick, we can do it out at the back of the shop behind the loading dock. So
what made you want to get into that? Were you into that before you were into printing?
No, I don't enjoy. Well, I wouldn't say I don't enjoy it.
I don't enjoy it.
But no,
Like
there was other
printing.
people in town doing it, and they stopped, and people kept asking, and I was already doing the shirts and stuff for them.
Yeah.
And we had the vinyl printer and cutter and stuff, so it really just like rolled off of that.
Well, the first job that we got was actually next door. They were using someone prior to us being here. And the guy was doing, I guess it was like an ambulance with chevrons.
Yeah.
And literally halfway through the project, he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. And he just left.
Like he
He's
quit
"I'm
on the
done."
guy. And
Yeah.
so he
Nice.
he asked me, because that was when I was first asking about space here. And he's like, can you guys do this? Because he knew I had a vinyl cutter. And I'm like, yeah.
Can't say no.
Yeah, I'm the yes guy. So she keeps me from getting into too many situations. But I mean, like I just told him yes. I'm like, yeah, we can handle that. And that's when we learned. And I mean, currently for this year, like what we have ahead of us is at least 40 something vehicles left
Crazy.
that are
Wow.
confirmed.
Really?
Yeah. So
It seems
That's good.
super scary to me to do that. It feels like you can mess shit up so easy.
yeah, well, that's the thing. Like it's expensive. Like, so, I mean, just in general, like a roll of vinyl for like just basic lettering, you can get a 30-yard roll for $20.
Yeah.
But when we go to the reflective stuff, I buy like a 150-foot roll for like $1,100 plus the lamination. Then you have to print it, and you want to gang everything as close as you can.
Yeah.
And so it's just a little more expensive, but
How did you learn
go
how
for
to do that so quick? Did you just like watch a bunch of YouTube videos or something?
Yeah, well, it's called the Rap Institute. And I just,
Obviously.
hopped up in there, and it's a paid platform. So it's like $200 and you get unlimited access to all their class videos and stuff like
Oh,
that.
that's awesome.
And so I just have that, and they have videos for every type of application. And we just kind of researched it and just buy the best material you can, because that's what makes it so easy.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it's easy, but easier is if you use the good stuff.
The way
Kind of
that-
like in everything.
the
So
way
Plus it lasts longer, right?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Well,
for
that's
sure.
that's what I was gonna say, is like the way that we've just about either gained clients, and this is not on purpose, but taken other people's jobs, is because the person that did it before us just botched it, and it's because they're not using the correct vinyl. So whether they're
Right.
using like just the cheapest you can get where it lasts a year maybe, and then or they're not using like air regress when they're supposed to be using air regress. And I mean, like, you understand, like the salt here in the winter,
Yeah.
like it eats your car alive. Like, so if you're not taking care of that and you're just letting the vinyl just kind of,
Rot.
essentially rot on the car, like, yeah, it's only going to last you a year. But at least if you use good vinyl, it'll stand up to that to a certain extent, especially if you are taking care of it. So we just make sure that we're not cheap because we use the expensive stuff. And we
Right,
make
but
sure that we're
you'll get
selling.
known for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
50 cars later,
Yeah.
we don't do vinyl.
You said you're a yes man. Do you find yourself saying yes to vinyl stuff? Or do you do the same thing for screen printing?
No, so I've actually it took a few years to get where we were and are now to the point where we do say no. And I think that's probably the best thing you can do as a business is know when to say no. Because like in the beginning, you see a lot of people talking and they're like, oh, like I can do this for half the price, or I can get this, or I can take on this, or everyone wants the 5,000 shirt job. But if you understand that that's not in your like wheelhouse and when to say no and pick and choose, you can actually enjoy your time off of work and have time off of work when you know what your specialty is and like the stuff you excel at. Because I mean, it's super easy just to say yes. And if I had that, I'd be doing one-off yard signs and t-shirts all day when people are like, hey, I need this, this, and this. And a lot of times it's like, hey, there's an easier place to get it quicker. Like even for business cards, like obviously all the people we work with are businesses and need cards. But if that's the only thing like we're working on, it might be better for them just to go online and grab that.
Yeah.
Even if we just help. Yeah. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like, cause even just the emails back and forth, you get $5 after all of that. Like it's not worth it for either side.
Have you gotten comfortable like telling people, hey, this isn't a good match. Like this isn't for me. You know what I mean? Like when people come to you with those one-off.
That's her. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll let her know that we're not doing it, and then she'll be able to relay the message.
I'm always bad cop. It doesn't matter who it is. He's like, can you email this person? I'm like, they emailed you. He's like, yeah, can you just email them from your email? So I mean, I word it. I'm honest. I'm like, listen, there are certain things that we specialize in. Business cards is not one of them. If you need me to do them, I can. However, like, I'm going to have to charge you. So I'm like, your art's going to be this much. Like when you could go on Vistaprint, come up with your simple design on there, and it cost you what, $9.99 for 500 business cards.
Yeah.
I'm like, so go there. But if we're doing like shirts and hats and vinyl for them, I'm like, yeah, I'll do a business card mock-up for you and just 500 to 1,000 business cards and just, you know, waive the art fee and just do the business cards because they're doing everything else with us. So it's not that we turn people away, but we're like, unless you have the art, it's not worth our time or your time or your money really to do business cards with us.
Well, I know if I ever need a favor, I know who to ask.
No, I will not let you speak to Tyler.
All calls go through her.
Yeah.
So whatever happened with this sweet tea versus unsweet thing you had going?
Sweet tea won, duh. All right, to be fair though, I stopped drinking the McDonald's one because it's just so sweet. I mean, it's good, but it is like, and now I just make my own and I put some agave in it. Just enough.
Disgusting.
Sorry.
I
used to do unsweetened, and then I was like, I'm a stress eater.
Yeah. We went to dinner the other night and I got an unsweet tea, and I don't know why, but sweet tea to me like just super grosses me out. So like as soon as I got a sip in my mouth, because it was like a refill. The first one was unsweet, the second one was sweet. I got like a huge sip in my mouth and it was just like, whoa. I just spit it all right back into the cup and just slid it forward. I was like, well, that fucking ruined everything.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
I gotta send you a pack of our ramen tea. Yeah, you'll love it.
That's so good.
I don't think you've realized it. The Joanne just put actual ramen in your water.
Like, close your eyes. Wait 3 minutes.
He's like, give me some tea. And she's like, yeah, I think we still got some. Oh, shit.
Expired ramen packets.
And then she's just eating the like chunky ramen with no sauce or anything. Just...
Is that a carrot in there?
So what did you guys do before all the printing stuff and vinyl stuff and everything?
I mean, I started printing basically out of my bathroom back in high school. So I went to high school I did 1 year in Arizona, 2 years in Florida, and then finished here in New Jersey. Started screen printing in Florida. I didn't know her at the time, but I wanted to start a clothing brand.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah. And I had this idea.
Well,
Awesome.
why in your bathroom?
Well, because I didn't have anywhere else to do it, and I needed a dark room. Yeah, my parents were going to let me do it in the kitchen, so I taped that was where I burned the screens.
Right.
But then, so I thought, and I had no idea, I thought every clothing brand actually made their clothes
Right.
and printed them, and that was just my understanding. Like, oh, to do this, you have to do that. And then when I moved up here, I moved to the basement for printing, and that was at my parents' house.
So that's where this in-house prints comes from.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
get it.
Like it was literally.
I like
that. Yeah. So
Well, it first started as in-bathroom prints, but then
yeah,
I
it
like
wasn't
that
as
better.
catchy.
Restroom prints.
Yeah, but I mean, so
Prints.
then just doing the stuff for the
Body
brand
prints.
and like going to beach events. That was kind of our main thing in the summer was surf and skimboard events. We'd set up, sell all of our merch. And from there, we were able to then print for the event. So people are asking for printing at that point.
Dylan, that's not distracting. Don't worry about it.
I know. I was like, when did that happen?
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, no. And then it's kind of snowballed into like when I came up here and I was working more with like the clothing brand stuff and trying to understand the whole industry, I actually got a job at PacSun, which was in the local mall by us. And I just wanted to know everything about like the print process, like what are these people even getting their shirts for and selling them for?
Yeah.
And is it worth it and all of that stuff? And that's when I learned like my job there, I like all the extras that people put on the clothes. Like my job was to take all those hang tags off with all the extra stuff before they went to the shelf. And I'm like, these people spent so much extra money to get these tagged and bagged this way. And like, this is all getting removed before it went to the floor because they liked the way it was presented with all the shirts being uniform and not having like the cool stickers or the tags hanging off and all of that extra. But yeah, then we both met when we worked at Skydive Jersey. I was packing parachutes. She was in the office and I was still printing.
Skydive Jersey, Pittstown, 866-669-3020.
Yeah, opening this weekend. But yeah, so we met there and I was still printing and I needed help. Like I was getting a lot of print stuff going through. And so
he employed me.
Yeah, and then at that point she was working at a marketing place. And I told her, I was like, I don't want you to feel like you're working for me. I was like, but I need help. So
it was crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, here's 51%. Leave your job.
I was working full time there. I literally had a 45-minute lunch break. So on my lunch break, I would drive to his parents' house, spend a half hour there working for him, and drive home. Sometimes on my lunch break, I'd go to a local coffee shop and make like phone calls to vendors. And I'm like, hey, like, can you call me at like 2:00 today? And they're like, sorry, I only have like 3:00. I'm like, well, I can't take my lunch break at 3:00. So it was just nuts. And then it got to the point where I would work all day. I'd go on my lunch break. I'd come home at night at 6:00-ish, work until 10 or 11 o'clock at night with him, and then have to do it all over again the next day. And it just got to the point where like, this is stupid. I'm like, I'm doing the same exact work that I'd be doing here, only I am stuck at my job all day at a desk and I'm miserable. Like it wasn't a bad place to work at, but it was like being able to have the freedom with Tyler. He's like, hey, I'm going to Arizona for like a month. Do you want to come with me? I'm like, I don't think I can take a month off from work. So we talked about it and it was like November, I think we decided, and I told my company a month in advance. I was like, listen, I'm going to go spend like a month or something out in Arizona. So I can't stay here. And so I quit. And at that point we switched everything over to
in-house prints. Yeah.
In-house prints. And both of us had it. I was still working at a restaurant though, just because it was like, if
it's
this
scary to take
work,
that jump for sure.
You were just dating still. You weren't married yet.
Yeah. So I think we were together for.
It was part of the business plan.
We started.
That way, if anything goes south, I get more back.
I think we were dating for over a year at that point.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like questionable, but it was more like for me, I was so used to getting that paycheck, and then I was also used to getting cash. So for me, it was like, hey, like your paycheck's going away. You're probably going to be working less at the restaurant. So you're completely losing your salary. You're losing your good benefits. And like at that point, I could still like piggyback off my parents. But then it was like, okay, when the time comes that I need insurance, what happens? Like, what happens if this doesn't work out? I'm like, okay, I can still get back into it, but it was really scary. Like looking back at it now, it was at the time almost a stupid decision, but I'm so happy I did it because it did end up working out, thankfully.
Yeah.
Stupid because it was risky.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was 24.
Something I don't know. I guess I'm convincing. So
I quit a really nice job, really comfortable job, and was working out of this guy's basement. Like it seems so sketchy, but like at the time I was like, love is blind. So let's just do this.
No windows.
Yeah.
No, we had a sliding door.
Yeah, it was a walkout basement. It was nice.
We
lots
had
of mattresses on the walls for sound ending.
We had a pool table that doubled as our
cutting table.
cutting mat, which
yeah.
sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Cary, we ruined it.
Yeah. We owe them a ping pong table, but other than that.
But no, it just, and then it got to the point where we didn't have enough room for like boxes or anything. Like we literally just could not fit anything else down there.
Yeah.
We ended up getting the roll-in print and cut the one time, and we ended up moving it into our kitchen because it wouldn't fit. Like it was just
like, yeah,
we
you
had
hear
no room for
everyone like
anything.
all these like stories of people like getting started. And like, I think that's what's really cool in like the screen printing industry is a lot of us who have been in it for a while understand, like genuinely understand. Cause someone can be like, oh, I know what you mean. I'm like, no, these people know what I mean. Like that, you thought when you were done with school, like that pressure of like, oh, you didn't read the book for the book report. Like
It's
that's
so
like,
much worse.
that can be daily sometimes when you're a screen printer.
Yeah. We were the same when we were in our first place. It was like a 2-car garage, and we got to the point where we were counting all our shirts outside in the grass.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have any space.
Yeah.
Well, we would get shipments and they would leave them at the end of his parents' driveway because they wouldn't drive them up. And I'm talking like, how many feet is that? It's not a short.
Well, yeah, they're kind of in the woods. So
yeah.
like,
like, and then you have to like cart things or like move, taking boxes up and down steps. And then it's like,
and Tyler was always busy, right?
oh yeah. Well, I had to print.
yeah. But then, we finally got to the point where we're like, this is just so ridiculous. I'm like, if we actually want to grow and we want to make this happen, we have to find somewhere to move this because it's not working. And I think at that time, we literally had just about finished our house. And we were like, let's just move it into our garage. And I'm like, we're putting ourselves back in the same position. I'm like, because this was before we had our auto. And we're like, if we buy this auto, I'm like, it's barely going to fit. And I'm like, and then what? We're going to keep all our stock in the basement. And then, because it's it's a detached garage. So it's like, and I'm like, okay, listen, it's going to suck the first year that we have a space. But I'm like, we just have to do it because there's no room for growth where we are right now. So our current shop was like our dream location. I'm like, there's no way we're going to get it. At the time, I think when we first started, were there any units available?
Yeah, we lost the first 2 that we were supposed to get.
They signed a lease with someone else. And
so then this one opened up right at the same time.
Yeah,
so it worked
and
out.
There was someone in here when we toured it, and they were getting out. But I think there was like somewhat of a miscommunication where the guy was like, hey, you have to be out at the end of, I guess it was like June. And the guy was like, wait, what? Like, I didn't even start moving anything. So we ended up helping the guy move
out.
his stuff.
Yeah. It was nuts because we ended up we got our press, we switched the one that was supposed to be being delivered to us. We had them send it to the next shop in line.
So we didn't,
because we were supposed to be in another unit and already in. And I'm like, I already bought this thing because you said we'd have a space for it. So everything happened at once, but it all worked out.
It was
awesome. How long have you been there then?
Since 2016.
Do you think it's enough space, or do you think you're gonna?
I want to say it's enough space. I want twice the amount of space right now, because the next auto that we'd like to get obviously is going to have a bigger diameter. And I'd like more than 2 feet on each side to walk around.
Yeah, so
because our building is long and narrow.
Right now,
I have the exact same problem.
A 4-color 8 station, and then we have an 8-color manual, which is a really nice lazy Susan.
Yeah, you just put your drinks on it, and you got 8 tables around the shop.
Dylan uses his manual as a hat holder.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't use mine for shit.
It's just nice to have because, like, just in case. I told him, I'm like, the second you sell this thing, we're going to get a $5 job.
I've said that. I've been saying that for the past 6 years, and it still just collects dust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which it literally did end up happening. He was like, we're going to sell this. I was like, no, the second you say that, we're going to sell it. And then, of course, we get an 8-color job like a week later.
Mm-hmm.
But
so
we have it's like 3,000 square feet in here with like a loft area. And I think when we first moved in, we were like, this is really big, but it's like nice because we can grow into it. And now, knowing what I know now, I wish we had gotten like 2 units, but I don't think it was like in our budget at the time. So, because this was like at the top of our budget, which again was really scary going into it.
You could do like Andy and just take over the place next door.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah, we want to, but more one place than the other is trying to expand as well. And so like the way that these units are, obviously it's like you could knock walls down and everything, but they're almost all full. But the ones that are empty are like on the opposite side of the complex. So it's kind of, you would just have to move everything. And for us to move all of our stuff, it would literally take us weeks. So it's just not worth it.
Hey, I'll sublease you guys some square feet for sure.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect.
I mean, listening to you talk about another auto is so encouraging because we're on our drive here. I was like, it's so crazy because we decided to expand literally just like 3 months before this all happened. And so if I could take it back right now, today, anyway, I would. And so,
yeah,
so that's not to mean that a year from now, we won't really glad we have it, but certainly not thinking about another auto or anything like that.
Yeah.
So your optimism is awesome. It's good to
Yeah. And I mean, for us, like we have an interesting setup of how we run all of our stuff, and the fact that we do other things as well, as far as like vinyl installs and things like that. We're not, to say heavily reliant on just one thing. So to have the option of embroidery here and our sewing stuff that we can do.
You don't do embroidery right now?
No, we do. We have
Okay.
A single head here. We also have a post bed for like patches and stuff. So having those multiple streams makes it so the pressure isn't just on the press to be paying the bills. And so I've kind of always wanted to have a business where I might only need a shovel, but I have a backhoe. And I want it to be overkill. As far as the equipment
He just really
I have,
wants a backhoe.
and I'm looking for a skid steer, but I only have one pile of rock I need to move. But still, I want to be overpowered in the equipment side of things to make work for us and anyone that we have working with us comfortable. I want it to be enjoyable.
One thing that I've talked to a couple of shops about this, and you don't have to get a rock. That's never been my message. Yes, we love our rock, and it's for the people that we've had to train on it. It's super easy. I don't know anything other than rock, so it's hard for me to speak for them. But you should never purchase something, I'll say, cheaper because it's cheaper. You need to purchase what is going to work best for your business for now and for the future.
That's great advice. Dylan, are you listening?
Shut up.
The second that you
What'd you just buy?
He's looking at a auto reclaim.
Dude, it's
Oh my
not.
gosh.
It's not the
I've
money.
been-
It's the fucking space.
Pretty sure
We've
you said
had this
something about
conversation.
pretty sure you said something about the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
I spent fucking $250,000 this year. All right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it as like, do I need to spend another 50 on one more chamber, or do I
Yeah.
do 2 chambers?
So
You might as well get it. But wait, so I have a question, Andy, with yours. After all is said and done, you guys still have to degrease them afterwards and everything, right? And like touch up, or is that?
Well, I guess maybe that depends on your chemical, but we use Easy Way, and so so we use 701 in the ink in the wash, and then it's it's a 55, which is a concentrate like Supra.
Yeah.
And it also, which includes degrease. So once it comes out, there's a finishing station.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're not using chemical that also degreases, then you can right there. But no, once it's off, it's done.
That's awesome.
In fact, when we get new screens in, it's easier to just run it through the Ecotex to degrease instead of just put them in a booth and degrease them. So we run it through the Ecotex.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, and I know like we don't need an auto reclaim for the number of screens we do, but I want it to be overkill. And like when everyone's like, oh, the amount of time you have to change out your chemicals, like I want to be on the low end of that. And like, oh, your stuff lasted a year because you only do 50 screens or something a week. You know what I mean? Like I'd be okay with that.
It's just the two of us right now.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. Everyone else we had over the last summer, we actually somewhat planned it, but they were all in college and going to school. So it was a test for us to finally bring on employees and have payroll set up and all that. But knowing that they were going to be leaving, and we had trips planned anyway. So it worked out. But knowing that they'd be going back to school, it gave us an opportunity to test a group of people, see what the impact was on the business and how it worked for us, without having to fire everybody at the end if we didn't like it.
That's really awesome though to have that.
Yeah.
Get that
Okay.
experience.
Circling back because this is important. Another screen printing shop just purchased a used rock, and how many stations was it? 10.
I think it was 810.
810. So they were looking to buy new, which is what we did. We got new because at the time we didn't necessarily see anything on the market. But for us, it made sense. There's nothing wrong with buying used equipment as long as you know that it wasn't abused and it's, not a piece. So for us, like literally the only piece of equipment that we've purchased new is the rock. All of our other stuff, our exposure unit, the washout,
everything else is used.
The print and cut, the embroidery machine, everything was used. We got it.
Yeah, but you went fully through that dryer.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
The dryer, like you did a bunch of work to it. You like stripped it down.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I literally
you basically refurbished it.
Yeah. Well, he had all of that with it too. I didn't have to do anything, and it was only a year old, but it had been sitting on Digismith for a year, and I do these random things where I buy things or send offers, but I'm a man of my word. So if I offer you something and you say yes, like expect me to be there to pick it up. So we literally, it was like 3 days later, we had a plane ticket, flew to Florida, had a box truck ready to go, and went to this guy's place and loaded it up and drove home the next day.
That's cool.
And then we didn't assemble it right away because I needed to run a gas line and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I thought when I got the Hot Rocket XL infrared dryer, that was a step up, and then that was like, wow, this is huge.
Well, compared to
the D30 that we had before that. But yeah, then to be able to get that in here.
And he literally was like, yeah, we're going to buy it. I'm like, Tyler, is this even going to fit? I'm like, we're literally going to be sending t-shirts out of our loading dock. He's like, maybe I should measure one more time.
I was like, yeah, I think we've got 20 feet
so
behind the press.
We had to move our press forward, which was totally fine, but it's just,
Yeah.
So just make sure that you're not buying something that doesn't make sense for your shop. Like for us, we've gotten really great deals on stuff. But the whole thing is that if you spend, let's just say $20,000 on something because you're like, oh, it was a really great deal. But then you're like, wait, I need something bigger. Like this doesn't make sense anymore. So like for us, I feel like knowing what we know now, and like, yeah, it's really scary to go and put out $40, $50, $60, $70,000 on a press that you're like, hey, I hope this works out. We would have gotten a bigger press. What we have works awesome. Like it's great. We have a ton of 1 and 2 color jobs, but just being able to do an underbase flash and then one time around.
How many colors is your press?
Just 4.
Just 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, but it was strategic that, I mean, they really wanted to push us into, because the standard one came with 5. And I was like, no, I know I can make the 4 one work for what I need. Because at that point, 8 station. 4 color.
Okay, well,
were you not listening to me before? Like I literally said what we had.
But yeah, I mean,
welcome to my world.
Yeah. So, but it works because I knew from the beginning what our customers were and what they needed.
I missed that part.
He was too busy drinking his ramen.
Staring at Dylan's dome.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like it's hard to really know what your future is going to look like. But if you're questioning, if you're like, maybe I should get like a 10 color or whatever it is, like just get it, because you're going to kick yourself once you get a 4 color in there and the first person that reaches out to you, like, hey, I have like an 8 color job. Can you do it? And you're like, no. Like, yeah, you can outsource it, but like you're a screen printing shop. You should be able to do that. And that's kind of why we've hung on to that manual press. Like it sucks that it's literally like a paperweight there, but like it's.
Yeah. How many colors is that? Or did you already say?
That's an 8.
She did.
Oh my God.
Like 3 times.
Joe, what did you put in that tea? It's definitely expired, isn't it?
Hey guys, I can get them out of this if you want. We can talk because I've been listening the whole time.
Oh, the
It's been
connection
great.
is weird.
See you later.
Later.
Yeah, but so that one shop, they were looking to buy new, and I was like, listen, like well, they weren't sure if they were when and if they were going to buy. I'm like, you're going to know when you're ready to buy something. You're literally going to want to rip your hair out. I'm like, Tyler and I, not that we were fighting, but like there was tension because I'm like, this just sucks. Like we're working out of a basement. I'm like, there's no space to move. I turn around and I walk into something. I'm like, we have to do something. It's going to suck, but we have to do something. Like we had enough money saved up that we could kind of like get into it. Well, literally, I kid you not, the first order that we got in this shop was right when we got our press. And I'm kidding. I'm like, not kidding. Like we couldn't afford the blanks. So we had to take money out of our personal bank accounts to pay for the blanks. So if we didn't get the shop, if we didn't get the press, we would have turned like, at the time, a very big job away because we wouldn't have purchased what we should have purchased.
Yeah.
Isn't that just like the same story as Juan? You know, when he, kind of the same deal when he went to get his press.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden he got it installed and then a few weeks later, boom. So
Yeah, it's not this. An auto press is unreal, but I think people don't understand it unless you've been on a manual before, like how powerful it is and quick and efficient. But it's not magic, but the work does show up once you get one.
Yeah.
Like stuff you would have never been able to do by hand.
And you're able to offer like a higher quality product. Not
personally,
that
I
manual
love
printing isn't.
I love that I started on a manual and learned on a manual because, you know, there's that whole set of skills that you require.
Yeah.
But you're right. And then all of a sudden the day you get that auto and you start running it and you can't even believe it.
Yeah, no, it's unreal. Yeah.
It took him a couple weeks to actually get onto it because he's like, I'm so scared.
Oh yeah,
Like-
because you mess stuff up just as fast as you can make it if you don't have everything right.
Yeah,
So
instead of just messing up one shirt, you're messing up.
you're like, did you see that? I screwed up 600 shirts an hour. But yeah, so timing is everything, and but being aware of what you need and knowing kind of your customer base and that you'll have those tools to take care of it. And we haven't had anything we haven't been able to handle in the last 5 years by having only a 4-color press. Because we do have the 8-color manual, we can do some of the simulated stuff. But knowing what I know is that I'm not going to be the one sitting here creating race car designs and stuff like that. Like that's not our wheelhouse, and those aren't the customers we have currently. And so unless I had a really good relationship with an artist or somebody that was what they did, I don't have the need for a press with 12 stations or 12 colors to be able to run that type of stuff at this current point.
Plus, all you do is when they say they want a 5-color, you just say, "Oh, this would look so much better in
As a 1-color with halftones." Well, and that's the thing. So much retail stuff looks so much better with just 1 color or 2. Like you can get really cool stuff super simplified, and it's more appealing, and it's something you can probably wear more places than a huge full back with all the different colors and stuff like that.
Stop! You're being really mean to Dylan right now.
Dylan has the capacity though.
That's his wheelhouse. That's not what we do.
It's my house of wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're literally 1 to 2 colors. I would say 90% of the time, and it's great. Like we're cool with that.
Dude, I laughed so hard when we were talking to Juan about making the 1-color thing, and he said calling it 1 hit, that's it. Did you see his comment this week where he said if somebody stole it, he would make it 1 hit, that's it?
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Oh, I fucking died for like a half an hour.
That's awesome.
Like you better buy that.
Get his domain set up.
1hitthat'sit.com. It'd be so good.
So free to ride.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, that's what got us into this mess.
That's what got you
Yeah.
into this mess.
If I would have known you didn't have to print your own stuff, we wouldn't be here.
Because you weren't happy with.
Yeah, I had a screen printer doing stuff back in Florida, and I didn't know much about any of it. And I really wanted to try the water-based stuff. And just the majority of people then weren't offering it.
This was back in 2005, 2006.
Yeah. And so just even finding a place that would do it. So that's what got me started. I just wanted to test it out and see it. And I knew all the stuff I was doing, just even from a printing perspective, I was like, it's way easier to do 1 to 4 color. Like I'm okay with that. And could get the message across of the stuff I wanted. And yeah, so that was basically, I printed all of that stuff. And then when we would go to our events, One of the main ones in New Jersey that we would do every year was the Belmar Pro. It was a big surfing event. And when I first moved up to New Jersey, I was like, I'm going to try this. If it works, I'll keep doing it. If not, I'll pick something else. And I just moved up here, didn't know anybody, grabbed a few kids from school, spent the weekend at the beach, and we sold everything we had. And so that was kind of like, all right, this works. What other events can we go to? What else can we get involved with? And then that's kind of when it just spiraled off. And so now we're able to do that along with in-house prints. So basically we built a business that allows me to then print all my stuff on my time.
Do you still think you have a lot of focus on that, or is it kind of on the back burner?
No, I try to spend a decent amount of time on it. But lately, especially since all of our events have been shut down, that was one thing is we never focused, and it was a mistake on my part probably, is not focusing as much online in the beginning as like all these different platforms came out. But we were heavy in the events and we would go to them, but you'd eat up a whole weekend with your travel and setup and all of that.
Which was fun though.
Yeah, I mean, but it was fun. Yeah, we're out camping on the beach.
Working on the beach.
And working and selling t-shirts. So it wasn't bad.
Yeah, that's how we feel about live prints. It's like it's really good money, but like more it's just hanging out at a party. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then you also when you have print jobs lined up for clients and you know that's guaranteed, you don't know, is it going to be pouring rain while we're down there? Right. After you drove 8 hours, or, you know what I mean? So then we needed just a little bit more like security in what we were doing once we stepped out of the house and actually took everything on full time. But then with everything shut down, and not doing events now, we're focusing a little bit more on the online side of it, and to kind of push on that end, because that would be our end goal, is to have that as a standalone brand.
Not have any clients anymore. Sorry, love you guys, but
but yeah, so it's still something that we are trying to focus on. But we
what events did you go to, or what were your favorite ones?
We did quite a few. I like the winter ones because we also do snowboarding and everything. So we'd go to Jack Frost Big Boulder, which was a local mountain around here by us, and every weekend they would do a different type of event, whether it was like a rail jam or some type of race or something. And we would be able to set up there. We also retailed our product in their stores, like their little ski lift shop. So we'd have stuff set up there. Every year we've been a part of down in Beach Haven in Long Beach Island. The Flow House there, they have like a stationary wave. So we've been a sponsor of that, and they'll run a few different events during the summer where we can go and set up and sell. But we have a banner and stuff set up there year round with them.
It's awesome.
But yeah, it's cool. Our furthest events that we go to, we're going almost every year up until recently. We drive out to Lake Havasu in Arizona for the Works race and just sit out in the desert. It was dirt bikes and four-wheelers and side-by-side races and sell t-shirts. So
Tyler dreams about getting a side-by-side.
Yeah, and I'm like, so it's just been the ability to travel and still make a living is kind of why we did it. And it was all with t-shirts. So that was...
Well, you guys have the Race of Gentlemen in New Jersey there too for motorcycle stuff.
Yeah, well, we wanted to get set up there, but my stuff wasn't era correct at that time. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to make stuff from the 1900s right now. But it was all right.
Yeah, we've been talking about riding up to that.
Yeah, no, that would be super cool to see.
Yeah, let us know if you do. We'll definitely meet you there.
Yeah, it's not that far. I mean, it's only like 4 hours, I think, from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll ride over too.
Yeah.
What do you guys ride?
It's only like, I don't know, 20 hours, maybe?
16, yeah.
We'll take our private jet.
Yeah.
We got bikes, or paddle bikes.
Pedal bikes.
There you go.
If Andy and Joanne can fit it in their schedule of vacation between their vacation,
yeah.
Wait, do you guys have one of the double bikes? I feel like you'd be that couple that
we do not, but that sounds...
Come on.
Sounds
You guys
awesome.
would totally do that.
We can wear matching outfits.
Yeah.
Tandem.
That's awesome.
That's what it's called, a tandem
Head
bike.
to toe tie-dye on a tandem.
I like it.
How often do you guys get to actually ride your bikes? I mean, you seem to be riding quite a bit at night. Are you riding back to the shop?
Yeah, we just drive to work and back.
We
don't go anywhere else.
Honestly, I would say 90% of that. 90% of the time that I'm riding my bike, I am riding it to and from work, which it's less than 10 minutes, but it's nice. It's, how many times do I think about just driving right past the shop every single time? But like, I don't know. I'm just happy that I'm able to even ride to work. It's like your ride is so short that it's like, oh, by the time I
don't even get out of first gear.
On, like, if it's too hot, I can't take my pants off because they're too tight. I had to stop eating my Chick-fil-A. Like, it's rough.
Well, that's the worst part in the morning is I can't go on the bike to Dunkin' and get an iced tea. I have to go straight to work. So it's either ride or sacrifice. So,
yeah. But, I mean, I try right now. I'm trying to ride as much as possible because probably at the end of this year, I'm selling my bike.
I don't know. Right. We'll edit that part out.
We're thinking we're thinking about the future. So Tyler will be keeping his bike, but I am not going to risk somebody else's life. Do you know what I'm saying?
Uh-oh.
I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant.
They're talking about getting one of these.
So like,
a sidecar.
We figured we're gonna, try and start a family next year. So, I decided that at the end of the season, I'm going to sell my bike. But then once I'm fully capable of riding again, I definitely will. But I go to that all women's event for the dirt bike riding. I got rescheduled to October, so I'm going to keep my dirt bike. So I'll ride that, and then.
Oh, that's good. Smart move.
Yeah.
It's very responsible of you.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And like that's the thing. I think that from a woman's perspective, at first I was like, am I going to ride after I have kids? And I was like, that just seems so selfish. But it's not, because in the grand scheme of things, I could get injured riding in my car too. Like it's really, yes, you have to pay attention. It's definitely different riding on a motorcycle, but I'm not going to live my life that much differently than, does that sound bad? Maybe don't include this.
You can cut that part out.
No, I'm just saying, like, yeah,
it makes sense. I get it.
I'm going to adjust my lifestyle a little bit, but just because I have kids, like, how many people ride motorcycles that have kids? I would say like 90% of them, at least, probably have kids. They just happen to be grown up. So I'm like, what's the difference if I do it now or I do it then? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm still going to like live my life, but I'm going to do it responsibly. I'm not going to go on a, week ride. I'm going to just ride around town. Like my bike, it's a Rebel 300. It's not going to go 65 comfortably.
If anything,
that's my plan.
You're trying to be better on the environment, saving gas. And
exactly.
Right?
So in the morning, Tyler's going to jump on his bike and rev it up and go off to work. And then you're going to go
she forgets to say that the mornings that she rides to work alone is because I'm already here and I took my truck and she couldn't ride with.
It takes me 20 minutes to get my pants on, so leave me alone.
So let's talk about this whole thing here. How is it working with your spouse?
You guys can go.
Yeah. You go first.
You're much wiser.
Be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I like, it's nice having a boss, to work with. And
Whatever.
No, I think that, it wasn't planned that way. We started working here and we weren't dating.
No.
So our
no
story's
idea
a
we
little
would
bit
be
different.
dating. I had no idea.
Yeah, so I started this and I went to Lowe's to get a kitchen island. Or the island actually was for our shop, was going to be our front counter. And she was working at Lowe's. She was a kitchen designer.
Yeah, I was a kitchen designer for 2.5 years.
And so she sold me the island, and then
you're like, marry me.
Do you like shirts?
You like shirts? I like shirts.
I actually found out it was for a screen printing shop, and I'm an artist. So I was like, hey, get me out of Lowe's. I don't like working in a box and wearing a smock. I'm hiring. And he took me seriously and actually, had a second interview with me and everything at Starbucks.
And she had to come over here and make sure it wasn't in my basement.
Yeah, I was
trust me.
on the inside when you said that. I was laughing so hard because I actually was like, I hope he doesn't have a rape basement. I better go find it. I was like, can I see your shop before I commit?
Yeah, in-house sounds better than rape house. Brent.
Oh, you guys are coming up with all the names tonight. I mean, for me, our story, it's similar, but I started kind of working like part-time with him, doing the free to ride stuff first.
Before you dated?
That was, we actually had I ran a Kickstarter back when that was all kind of up and coming, like the main thing, and paid her and another kid from Skydive to come over and pack and fulfill orders after that campaign. And so that was when she saw like that there's actually like a real possibility
at the time,
of things to do.
I was working out of the garage. So
that was a little move up. Like that was in the garage at my parents'. But yeah, no, I would say like for us working together though, like you got to have the right group of people to do it. But for us, I think it's a benefit because a lot of times I can just like, I'm obviously not in this situation because I do work with her and I'm married to her. But if you had to go home and you have like some of that stress from the day, your significant other might not understand what you're talking about or going through. And so like you might feel one way, but they'll never understand it. But when you're both in that same battleground, like you get it and you can come home and be like, we survived that. Like we did it, like versus trying to explain everything and they'll still not get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said it really well. You get to share in the successes of things and you also get to share in the failures.
Yeah.
And they really understand both of those things. And so
just knowing that he totally gets everything I went through during the day, I don't even have to tell him everything.
Yeah.
And I know it just makes me feel better, maybe faster, even just knowing that I don't have to like try to make him understand.
Yeah.
I just know he does.
there's definitely nights too that we're at home and after dinner we go for a walk or something. We say, okay, on this walk, we're not talking about the shop at all. No shop talk.
That doesn't work.
And we get about 10 minutes in, then something comes up. But yeah, I mean, so I don't know, like here's our perspective, on being able to share all that stuff. But Dylan, who do you get to share this stuff with?
I eat my feelings.
He drives an hour or something to Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, I do. No, I don't know. For me, it's the opposite. Like, I don't know. It's my thing, and like my family's into their own things. So
yeah.
When I get home, we can talk about what I went through, and then she can talk to me about what she went through, and we kind of leave the shitty stuff behind if there was shitty stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I got into it, it was just kind of like my dream and my plan, and I worked hard on it, and she didn't have to go through any of that bad stuff. And I just kind of like,
there's a lot of bad stuff.
Even now, like with my wife and kids, like I can afford to they can stay home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My wife can stay home, and we're doing fine and everything's good. And like I said, I can have a really shitty day at work because something didn't go right. And then when I come home, I can just shut it off and be like,
that's also
hey
nice.
Kids, what's going on? And
Dylan has zero emotion.
Yeah,
hello, kids.
Daddy's home.
I just lock them in their rooms and I do whatever I want anyway.
Yeah. Well, I feel like either being an individual owner or if you're doing a partnership, I would say being married, if you're able to do it successfully, is probably the better, because I could only assume that if it were two just business partners only, at some point one or the other is going to have a difference of opinion or goals. And like for the type of
Different
industry that we're
direction
in, it's very, as much as we'd like to be able to pass stuff on to other people, like a lot of your good relationships are because of the owners and like who they're working with. So it's something that you have to be involved in. And
yeah.
And I've had that. That's how I started, as I had a partner.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was the worst fucking mistake I've ever made in my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. It was terrible.
So I feel like when people find out, and I mean, this was even before we were married, when people are like, oh, like you work with your boyfriend, like, how is that? And
Yeah, I get that too.
they almost
mom
make they make it almost such like a negative thing. Like, oh, you should never work with your significant other. But for me, like, if something's going wrong, I can't go like tell an employee like, this is what just happened to me. This sucks, like whatever. But because I work with my husband, I could be like, hey, I need to talk to you. Like, I'm not in a good mood right now. And like
get in the car. We're going to Chick-fil-A.
that's
Lots of Chick-fil-A plugs. It should be a sponsor.
Because it's fucking good.
Yeah. Wait till next year. We'll get him as a client.
like
Yeah.
that's a thing about, working with a significant other is that you can be like so honest with each other. And yeah, do you get in arguments? Of course you do. That's normal. And I've talked to multiple of my friends that during this whole quarantine, they're like, I can't stand my boyfriend. I can't stand my husband. I'm like, I do this for a living. I'm with Tyler 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I'm like, but I wouldn't change that. Like, yeah, we're going to get in our disagreements, but you're with your significant other for 5 or 6 hours at night and you argue. I'm like, I'm with him 24 hours a day. And like, yeah, we have our arguments, but then we get over it. So I think working with your significant other, while people see it as a negative thing, like for us, like it's the coolest thing ever. Like you get to spend, like, sorry, I'm getting like emotional, but it's like the coolest thing ever to spend your whole day with your best friend. Like, oh my God, middle of the day, like, yo.
And get paid for it.
Hell yeah, let's go to Chick-fil-A, milkshakes.
Yeah.
But like, you can't do that with a business partner. Be like, hey, business partner, do you want to go get milkshakes? Be like, no.
You can. It's just
Like, it's weird. I mean, I
not
guess
as you can't share the same straw. If that's what you're saying.
Especially not anymore.
True.
yeah, I mean, I feel like I hear more horror stories of businesses falling apart because you have a business partner that, like he said, like they want to go in a completely different direction than what you wanted. And I get it, but like Tyler and I, like, yes, Tyler's the dreamer. Sometimes he wants to do something, and I'm like, hard no. I'm like, you're not doing that. I'm like,
Reality check.
Yeah.
I'll try again next week.
Yeah. Oh, and he does. But it's like to have someone that you can be so honest with and just, sometimes you're like, hey, I have this stupid idea. Do you want to do it with me? And you're like, hell yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I got myself, I promoted myself and I'm building a new office. And so I found this website. It's called Bid Spotter, and it pulls up all these auctions that are going around.
If you have a gambling problem,
Yeah,
do not
don't
go on this website.
I almost won something that it was such a good. I won it for $125, but someone then outbid me right at the last minute, and it was a mezzanine. And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! We can move our whole washout area, and it'll have drains underneath it, and it'll be a whole sit up like for the whole thing." But then I realized that it was like welded in place and way heavier than I had anything to move it for. So it didn't. We ended up not getting it.
We
so
actually need a semi to move this
but
thing,
this thing,
so I bought that too.
Yeah. No, but it's one of those modular like implant offices that's insulated with a drop ceiling and lights and everything like that. So it's 10 by 20, and we'll put that up on the mezzanine. So I'll have like a enclosed area up by our fulfillment stuff.
It sounds like Tyler has a shopping problem.
Yeah. But it's business related, so it's good. Yeah.
Like
Okay.
we're literally sitting, he's like, you need to come up here right now. I'm about to bid on this thing. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I don't even know what you're bidding on. But I go up there and it's this mezzanine. I'm like, okay, I thought we had this conversation that we don't need this, but you want it. And I'm like, and then if we leave this shop at some point, then what are we going to do? Disassemble this mezzanine and take it with us to a shop that doesn't have a mezzanine? And he's like, yeah. So we're sitting there and he's like, it's going, click. I'm the winning bidder right now. I'm winning. And I'm like, okay, what's it at? He's like, 100. I'm only going to go to 150. I'm like, okay, fine. If you want to spend $150 on a hunk of metal that you're going to have to go scrap, be my guest. It's 150. Click. It's $200. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm going to keep going. I'm like, stop. Like, it's literally addicting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we don't need a freaking mezzanine that we're going to have to pay someone to go get for us. But yeah, don't go on that website if you have a gambling problem.
I'm going to check it out as soon as I get
Well, there was actually a shop in California with M&R stuff on there and a turntable and all of that stuff in Compton that ran last week or the week before.
And you can just like you can just like bid on anything basically.
Yeah. Yep. You just
sign up.
put in your card information. You're good to go.
Yep.
Sounds
Oh,
dangerous.
okay. All right, cool.
Could you please say the website again? What was
That is bidspotter.com.
I don't buy weird stuff at all.
Was that was not Amazon Prime?
It was Amazon actually.
Yeah.
So my search history has been a little weird lately. So have you guys had any like crazy roadblocks or anything in business wise that's kind of like almost hindered the company?
No, well, I wouldn't say no, but we try to play it safe.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and never like overextend.
I think our biggest thing was, and I think you guys talked about this with Juan, was like about hiring people.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really hard to, and you guys get it. Like for us, it's still kind of hard. It's letting go of your business and trying to find someone that cares about your business as much as you do. Well, guess what? Nobody will ever care about your business as much as you do. And sometimes it's hard to like understand that because I think as business owners, you know what it takes to get to a certain point. And so you'll hustle until you get to where you want to be. And then you just keep pushing to be even better. But like you hire someone and they're just like there and they're just printing shirts and they don't really care about what they're doing. They're just doing it because it's their job and they get a paycheck at the end of the week. So for us, like trying to find someone that would kind of, match with us and, enjoy it, which is hard to say like, hey, do you like t-shirts? But apparently it worked for you guys. So, but it's hard to let go of your business in that aspect. Yeah. And we did it and it worked for that period of time and it was fine. But then, we're back to the point where we didn't need anybody, but now we kind of need someone. So it's just like, we're back and forth. And with me trying.
Were you looking to hire in production or in, like front office?
Probably production.
Well, kind of both in a way. But it's just, we need to find someone that, like, I know Dylan, like your whole thing is that it's literally part of the interview to make sure that the person is going to get along with everyone, which I agree with. Like your culture is that you like Grilling Wednesdays and you go get steaks on Thursdays, right?
Thursdays. Yeah. Well,
so it's like
2 days in a row of feeding.
Hiring a vegetarian wouldn't necessarily make sense.
No, I've made veggie burgers. Damn it. Yeah, I've made veggie burgers.
I think for us, the hardest part is I feel like I'd like to bring 2 to 3 people on at the same time, so that they don't feel like the odd man out in situations.
I think the thing is
have someone to work with.
Yeah, I think the important thing is like kind of like what we've done is basically everybody who's hired for the first like couple months or whatever. Yeah, they are just like an employee and they're learning things. But once they get their feet wet and they get learning things, I kind of make them a manager of whatever they're working on. Like nobody's just there taking up space doing a little job. Like everybody who's there does like 4 jobs, but it's a department. Like you're in charge of this department. So that's what you're saying. Like nobody cares as much about your business as you do. But if you put them in that position of like, this is your job. Like, I'm not going to micromanage you. I'm not going to look over you. I'm not going to anything. You take care of this job and you help this company grow. Like that's your thing. And almost everybody always owns up and like takes ownership of that job and is prideful. They're prideful in the fact of like what they're doing and everything because it's theirs. And like even today, like Sarah is like I could have just hired her to like do my emails or whatever. Like now she ended up being like front of office where like if you call or, you email or come through the door, you talk to her. And then I told her basically like, okay, you're in charge of this. So she got stoked on that. And like today, like I didn't even say come in today. She just knew instinctively that we had shit that had to be done. So she's there now on her own free time, like working, like, yes, I'll pay her for it, but still it's like, I didn't have to ask. Like she just knew I want to come in and do this so that we're okay next week.
Yeah.
And it's like the same with other people at the shop, like Randy or Chris or whatever. They'll be like, oh, well, let's just work late tonight. And I'll be like, no, I want to go home. And they're like, no, I want to like get this stuff done. And it's just like, well, other employees are just like, they're like, oh, fuck it, 5 o'clock, I'm out.
Exactly.
And it's
I
like,
think there are definitely those type of employees out there, the ones that don't care. We've had some, and you quickly realize that, and either they move on their own, or you get rid of them one way or the other. But the way people, and I think the idea of coming or hiring 2 or 3 at the same time would be a challenge, really.
Yeah.
Like even a company, and I know what you're saying, because having an odd person that all of a sudden they join YouTube, well, that might be a weird dynamic, but I think that's the best
We
move.
did that. We hired one person.
Yeah.
When
We did
I think-
it was just us two, and then we needed somebody in production
Well, yeah, and
for printing. We just
on
hired
our first experience, like after we had our first employee, and then we had them reference one person, and we brought on 3 others just from the high school, like their polytech class. It was easier to transition in new people because that other person had been there and knew the ropes and could show and share. But then when you're back to just one employee, makes things a little more difficult, because it's not like you can be like, hey, like Alexa just wanted me to remind everyone not to be on your phone the whole time. But when it's only one person,
See, I'm the bad
it's
guy.
like you're like
Alexa
talking to one
wanted me to
person. Yeah.
remind you.
but
so,
But I think, but what Dylan was saying is like exactly, you give people responsibility, and then most of the time they accept it and they like it. And and we've had people. The normal spot in our shop is that you start is at the end of the dryer. We call it quality control. And so many people have started in that spot. And I've got one person right now that's managing embroidery that started there. I've got another that just moved over to embroidery to help out. The customer service manager started at the dryer.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
She's
it's
been here like 6 years or something now.
a dryer
that's
is, and plus you learn, it's like an entry level spot, but you learn about that person.
Yeah.
You learn if they can hack it at a dryer, because that's a tough job.
yeah.
And so if they are organized and they can show up on time and they can, stand there.
Count. I
Exactly.
struggle with that.
At least to
sometimes.
12.
I mean, that's really good, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it is always good to start people at those positions though too, because then they learn about printing.
They learn about
They-
shirt styles too.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to just hire a salesman and just have them stay in the office all the time. You want them
Exactly,
to go out and experience it. So when they sell shit, they know what they're talking about. Oh yeah, you wanted a 6-color front, 6-color back, 6-color sleeve, and gold foil tags? We can do that, no problem.
Like, oh great, we're gonna have to send that to Upstate Merch.
So Tyler, you kind of like, I've watched on like your YouTube channel and stuff before, like you seem to be more conscious about like environment stuff, like with the washout and all that stuff. Are you guys doing anything other than just trying not to be wasteful, or?
We recycle.
Yeah, we throw our cardboard in our neighbor's recycling bin. No, for us, and this is probably going to go like into, I have nothing against water-based and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there can potentially be a mix-up of stuff being environmentally friendly, and that sustainability can also outweigh the environmental part of it. So basically what I'm
I know what
saying
you're
is
saying.
plastisol isn't as bad as some people say it is.
No, they both are bad.
Well, yeah. If you want to be 100% eco-friendly, you should be wearing blank t-shirts. Like that's the whole thing. What
You
we're
should not
doing,
be wearing
You
t-shirts.
should just be
Yeah.
naked.
Yeah.
Exactly. What we're doing is extra and unnecessary in the grand scheme of things. The benefits we see with plastisol are that we're able to card off and reuse it.
Yeah.
And some of the prints, like people have vintage band tees that are from forever ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the durability and stuff like that.
Well, the
But
difference with water-based is just the reason why they say it's more eco is just because you're using water to clean up instead of other chemicals.
Yeah.
But
But if you card off everything and filter it out and stuff like that, I mean, you're with water-based, like if you're running discharge prints, like your dryer's running at half speed. So in theory, you're running your equipment twice as long.
Mhm.
So there's nothing wrong with doing it. And we do it specifically for that feel and the look of what it provides, but we're not afraid to keep using Plastisol. But I think if you go and push all of that, if you're not making sure what goes down the drain is the best it can be, then the rest of it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to see what is at the bottom of the tank. Like, it's unreal. Like, if we didn't actually have the correct filters in place to see what would be going down the drain. Now, we got it approved by our complex to be able to dump the water after our filtration system. However, our water is cleaner than the water that comes out of the faucet.
Yeah, they keep coming in and test. Like, we don't drink the water here out of it. Like, there's like high arsenic levels and stuff like that just in that area.
Like, the pH level's all weird, but when we tested our water to the faucet water, ours was way better.
Yeah, like after the cleaners, like the
That's
degreaser
awesome.
and stuff like that, it was actually like a softer water as far as pH
If I had to
level
drink
and stuff.
one, I'd drink it out of the dip tank.
Yeah.
Not the dip tank.
No, yeah, don't do that.
I might die.
But yeah, what we've
I
actually
think you
done.
might, instead of not riding a motorcycle for your child, you should stop drinking the fucking dip tank water.
Yeah.
I use a reusable straw.
Yeah.
You get one of those UV straws, you just stir it around in there.
My kid's got 6 eyes.
I would have put him at the quality control dryer.
I was gonna say that. He's really
But
good
yeah.
at checking in.
It's interesting because like I think a lot of focus is left off of that area in the print process, because that's where everything goes at the end. And what we've actually been doing to eliminate some of the stuff is once it's all in a big holding tank, we moved and we're using alum sulfite or something. It's like an aluminum powder kind of thing. They sell it on eBay. But it's used at water treatment plants.
It's really weird when you get it shipped here.
Yeah,
'Cause
like it
like
just
a
comes in
bag
like
powder.
a cocaine brick,
It
basically.
just collects all the solids, right? And
So
sinks in the
yeah,
bottom.
and what it does, you mix it just into water and then pour it and stir the whole tank, and it'll drop out everything like completely clear. So I'm pouring out like crystal clear water when we're done. So I mean, we're getting the pigment from the emulsion and any of the stuff that came from the ink out of the water before it goes down the drain. And then I'm able to just scoop that out into a bucket and let it dry until it's like a hardened solid where you can just dispose of it normally.
Where Alexa eats it.
Yeah.
It is so good.
I eat it with my ramen tea. Makes sense.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Well,
talking about
that's
the
the point of
tank
this podcast. You learn something.
Yeah.
Probably
This
did.
is where Chad needs to put that the more you know thing.
But yeah, I figured figuring all that out was cheaper than coming up with money to fix a plumbing system or something like that.
Yeah.
Because this isn't city water here.
Well, have you guys thought about like buying a building instead of
Yeah,
renting?
so I
Because,
have
I mean,
I
being in
have
New
a
Jersey-
list of them that I'm waiting to either move, expand, or go out of business. And like right now we have the perfect storm and none of them are moving yet. So
Oh
Give it time.
business.
yeah, but no, we have our eye on a few locations.
I don't think we plan on moving anytime soon, but if the right
If it
opportunity
if
came
something
up-
comes up available, just because here it's a little, it's probably all relative, but
Well, you need more space to store all your shit that you buy from auctions.
exactly, yeah. And I
Right.
need a place to pull a motorhome inside so it doesn't get weathered, different
Right.
stuff like that. You got to think big,
Right, obviously.
plan for the future.
and then we'll have a place for the mezzanine. It'll be great.
But yeah, the building I want is like 200 yards from my house, so that'll be perfect when it comes available.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Then I would definitely have to ride my motorcycle to work, but I would
Yeah,
go the
long
opposite way.
Just a scooter.
But yeah, so no, I wasted plenty of time on LoopNet and searching through Zillow with keywords for warehouse and commercial and industrial.
Yeah, I think Lee Stewart was saying about how he was trying to find a place, and it's just it's so hard, like with especially in New Jersey. I don't know how it is in Canada, but like the rules and regulations of having a business on your property or having a business in this area. I'm like, well, I have 5,000 acres. Can I put a building here? Well, no, it's not zoned for a business. Like, it's not commercial. So it's just, yeah, we could find like a nice plot of land and build on it. But then it's like, do I really want my business on my property? Or I don't know. It's just weird. We haven't found the perfect place. It'd be nice if we could get the one that's like right near our house, but
Yeah, I got super lucky with mine just because it was kind of like small town handshake. Like I didn't go through.
Your location is awesome.
I didn't go through like a bank or anything. I literally just shook the dude's hand and fucking pay him every month.
That's awesome.
Paid off. So, yeah, like that's the same thing though. It's kind of like I never had plans. Like I never had like a business mindset of like this is the smart move. Like buy this building and do all this other stuff. I just like stumbled upon it. It happened, and now years down the road, I look at it as like, wow, that's a really smart thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think about it.
Train conductor over there.
Yeah, for real, dude.
Yeah, when trains become the new thing, like you'll be ready.
Well, that's the other thing too. As soon as that train derails, it's just gonna fucking take our building.
Oh no. Dad, I need you to build a massive cement wall.
Yeah, just start putting in posts everywhere.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put in one of those like rail jumpers. So when I see it start to come, I just hit the button and it fucking launches it in the other direction.
We need to come visit all your shops because
I know, I keep saying that.
I want to see the train. I want to ride.
Yeah, I want to ride.
You want to ride the train?
We're going to take the train to come see.
Yeah,
you could actually hop the train from our shop.
Perfect.
You just got to run.
Things called
Yeah, we'll get those little hamster things that you push up and down and it goes on the trolley track.
Yeah, I don't know how smart those are.
How far are you from one another?
Yeah.
A couple hours.
Yeah, I think.
Is that it?
Was it 2-ish hours?
No, I think it's like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
really?
Because I went to.
Yeah. Okay,
I went to.
like,
well, I'm not. I'm upstate, but I'm not like that upstate. I'm literally 25 minutes from PA.
Okay. Well, you should GPS it. We should go.
I have GPSed it before.
I went to visit Screen Print Supply and Lancaster Print House that one time, and I was only half hour from you guys, I think.
Oh yeah,
and
that would be super close.
No, you're at 9 Railroad Street.
Yeah.
2 hours and 38 minutes.
Yeah. So that's
we're 13 hours and 49-minute drive.
That's an afternoon.
Yeah, no big deal.
That's a long afternoon.
I drove home from Moline, Illinois, not too long ago. We were through there.
Yeah, no stops, just straight through.
Yeah. Well, we'll make a trip up that way.
Back and forth from here to Georgia was 15 hours, and I would do that in one drive.
Nice.
Without stopping. It's not nice. I don't want you to say that.
I don't mind driving. So
we've done a lot of road
we drive
trips.
everywhere.
I always used to do it. I always used to do it after work. Like I would work a full day till like 5, 6 o'clock, go back to my apartment, grab my stuff, and then drive. And I'd get home at like 10 in the morning. But it was always for like Thanksgiving or some holiday or something.
So wait, do you have family down there?
No, that's when I first started. I was in Georgia. I was in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
So then I would drive back to New York for things. And like I said, it was like a 15-hour drive.
Yeah, that's a haul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did a full day of printing once, and we were trying to leave for Colorado. We were taking someone's motorhome for them out there so then they could vacation with it. And literally we printed the whole day, and I was like, no, we have to get on the road. Like, this is our thing. We made it 2 hours from home and fell asleep in the Cabela's parking lot in PA. It's like that. But we left on time. I was like, we just stopped earlier than expected.
No, that's the running joke with us is that we're always late. And I mean, we are. But I kid you not, like getting to the airport, we've cut it very close. Like if you followed me on Instagram, you've seen some of our adventures, like literally running through the airport, like full speed and missing our boarding and
not having your ID.
Yeah, this one.
They'll let you through.
Good to know.
Yeah.
But we're always just, what do you say? 2 hours behind or something on life?
Yeah, my life is usually roughly 2 hours behind.
Just sets the clocks back.
Yeah. Well, that's the worst thing. I'm from Arizona and we never had daylight savings. And so you get in a rhythm here and then they change the clocks on you.
He's like, I'm sorry, I'm on Arizona time right now.
No, it's like, no, they don't change.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
So like that's smart. We need to do that. Like I hate when it changes. I hate when it's dark at 5. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we need to move to Arizona.
We also have snow and I don't know. Like there's people like at my shop too that are always just like, oh, we should move the shop down south or we should do this. I'm like, dude, nothing happens here. Like, yeah, we have shitty winters, but that's it. Like we don't have tornadoes, we don't have hurricanes, we don't have any poisonous anything.
Yeah.
Like there's no crime where we live. Like we could leave our doors unlocked. Like, you know,
yeah,
it's always that grass is always greener thing. It's like you move somewhere else and you'll find a bunch of other problems that place has.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like we're totally fine where we're at. Business is good. Like it's fine. Just leave it alone.
And just travel. You can go everywhere.
Yeah. They should just take a vacation.
That's nice now. Like
like us.
Yeah, go on a vacation every 3 weeks.
And then don't come back.
Do you have a return date? No, not
extend
yet.
it by 18 days.
Yeah, for real.
But see, that's awesome that you guys are able to do that. Like that's the thing about like owning a business. Sometimes it really sucks. It's a lot of hard work, but then you just have to take that vacation time.
Well, we could take a vacation in the beginning. It was a long time before we could actually leave and actually be gone more than a couple days. And then it got to the point eventually where you could be gone a week.
Yeah.
And eventually it got to the point where we could be gone a month.
Yeah, I would say it was we were probably near 5 years in before we even had our first vacation. And we sort of, and I think it's important, you know, when you're stuck in that, I can't get up, I can't leave the shop for more than a day or whatever.
Wait, did you have employees at the time?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But it was our fault, really. It was my fault because I didn't have the right people in place to where I could go for a week. So it wasn't your fault.
I love how quickly you were like,
I was waiting for him to catch that.
But for real, it was my fault.
Yeah.
Because and that's the whole part of me forcing myself to make it so that we can be gone for a week and have systems in place, have the right people in place. Because what if it wasn't vacation? What if we were sick or something?
Yeah.
So.
You have to be okay with giving up certain positions. Like when it was just the two of us, I was the customer service, invoicing, QuickBooks person, but I was also shipping and receiving and check-in. And I was doing all that. And then eventually we grew to the point where I needed help. And so instead of an invoicing person, I opted to let go of shipping and receiving. And just knowing that things aren't going to run the same and you have to be okay with that, but you just want to find somebody that is extremely capable.
Yeah.
And cares. Sure. And then, you have to be okay with that. It's hard at first to let go because everything runs your way. You know all the ins and outs in your head every day. You don't have to ask them what's going on or when, where's this order? Is it delayed?
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it.
And as we scaled, we'd let go of this department or this problem or this area and thinking that, oh God, this is going to be great. Now we're going to have more time. But then it always seemed like there was something else.
Mm-hmm.
There was another area that we had to hire for or train somebody into. And so for a while there anyway.
You get to do their job and your job at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
So who's the better cook?
Depends on what you like to eat.
If you like chicken nuggets and French fries, he's your guy.
No, I can do burgers and stuff.
If you like, you did make some burgers the other night. But if you like anything other than that, that's me. And I like baking too.
What kind of food do you like to cook?
Everything.
It's very vague.
All right.
I don't know.
She makes a good pot pie.
I was going to say, what's the favorite thing that she makes for you?
The pot pie.
The pot pie?
Yeah.
Like a chicken pot pie?
Yeah, yeah.
What's for dinner tonight?
Whatever's left in the
I'm not sure.
That's the interesting thing is, I've never done like a meal service or anything like that. And with how busy we've been, I've just been getting, I'm sure you guys see it at Edible Underground. They have just like portioned out food and everything. And I've been ordering a ton of that because I don't have time to think about making food right now. And like, I'm watching my neighbor's dogs and it's been nonstop. So right now it's mostly like I went to ShopRite and I got some basic things to survive, but whatever.
Andy, what was it you said you cooked the other night for that special occasion with fucking baked beans or some shit?
It's hard, you got to cook it just the right temperature.
We do tacos a lot.
Yeah, tacos.
We like tacos.
I could live off of tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
When you guys come visit Taco Tuesday at this place in Easton, Pennsylvania, They're $2 tacos, but they're like those fancy little ones, but they're so good. And they're margaritas.
Like street tacos?
Yeah, they're margaritas, man. So good.
Okay, so that's the plan. We come visit you on Tuesday, Taco Tuesdays.
This Tuesday.
We drive up to Upstate on Wednesday, and then we hit up steak night on Thursday.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Plan.
And then you guys can go hike through Ithaca and go by Cornell University, and
Oh wait,
then
is
you
that
can
where
go to
you
Niagara
are?
Falls. Yeah.
So I toured Ithaca. I was up there, 2008.
Yeah, it's like 15, 20 minutes from me.
But then I ended up going to Marist in Poughkeepsie.
Ithaca is like the most PhDs per square mile, I think, in like the world or something like that. Yeah, like real estate's super expensive up there too, because it's all like professors.
You date raped her or something?
It's kicking in.
That'll show you. I'm just taking out my frustrations from work.
Like 20 of those in your room.
Yeah.
That would be really creepy.
The best part is
wake up
that's
in the middle of the
gonna.
night.
The best part is this is gonna end up at work, and it's gonna be bad. Probably.
Yeah.
It's gonna get defiled, I'm sure.
I just feel like the Amazon worker is probably like packing the order and like, how is this essential? And then just shipping it off.
I wonder how many they ship of those a day.
Dude, I bet that's the thing though, is like when I bought this one, most of the ones I wanted were sold out. So you know that people are home and lonely and they're just buying these. And then they get pissed and leave a 1-star review because it's got no holes.
They got 20 of them.
Yeah.
20
All right,
ladies,
well,
no
it's been
holes.
fun, guys.
Yeah. We'll see you later.
I gotta go.
On that note.
This is like the first time we've done anything since like February.
Yeah.
We went out to eat one time so far.
Last Friday.
Last Friday to a pizza place.
Not.
We sat outside. I guess that's the thing most people do, but we sat outside and nobody was wearing masks anywhere.
Really? Yeah, it's
Really.
still required here.
It was weird because it was like nothing had happened. It was like going back in time for a minute.
Oh, good.
Nobody's wearing masks. Everybody's acting normal.
But now we're both sick, so it was fun.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
Food was good.
With
That's
Corona.
right.
Well, yeah, not much has changed for me, especially the first 2 months. Like, because she would always go to the store and do stuff, and then
When
like
he says the store, he means the grocery
Yeah, the
store. I'm
grocery
not going
store.
out shopping.
yeah, like that
She says
was
a mall.
yeah. So things for me didn't change as much.
Yeah.
Like we'd leave the shop and go do our own thing.
Yeah, just that the going food shopping is now, it's not a 20-minute ordeal. It's like a 2-hour ordeal. Like now it's gotten a lot better. But when this whole thing started, I was like, hey, see you in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Why was that? You mean there was lines or something?
Oh my gosh, yeah. You'd have to wait outside
Yeah.
before you could even get in the store.
Certain amount of people in the store at a time.
Yeah.
And then you have to go in a specific direction down
Yeah,
each aisle.
he
And I didn't know all the
did that.
rules.
He finally came with me one time and I'm like, listen, even if you don't need something down this aisle, you have to go down it, because if you need something down the next aisle, then you're gonna have to go down the other aisle, and then you're literally just going in circles. It's like a rat race. So I was like, just go down every single aisle with me.
But then you buy more because you're like, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah. I got so many potato chips the one day. I was like, I don't even eat potato chips. I'm like, I got stuck behind this lady, so I had to wait, and I'm just like, I'm hungry.
But then everywhere is self-checkout, so they've employed all of us to
Well, after
Work
this,
there.
after talking to you guys, I realized it'd probably be really bad to take Tyler to like Sam's Club or Costco, because he always wants to go
I
big or
love
go
Costco. Oh my
He was
gosh.
just home. This is huge. I need this.
Yeah. No, so they have this taco tray at Costco. Like, I don't know how many, it's like 15 tacos in it. Amazing. It's
But
the
that
best.
sounds like a solid investment, though.
Oh, it is. You meal prep.
Mhm.
Right, obviously.
I meal prep with Costco hot dogs.
Ugh.
That's my favorite. Ew.
Costco pizza's good.
Costco hot dogs.
If it's not Nathan's or Hebrew National, I don't want anything to do with it.
Whatever. I think we just became best friends.
Whatever. I don't
We'll
care.
bring them
I
up
got-
with us.
I got Linda. I don't need you. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you later.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right.
Have a
Thanks
good
so
night.
much
Thank
for
you.
having us on here.
See ya.
Later.
Hey, now that they're gone.
Get that doll.
Yeah, you guys want to try something?